This episode goes out to every medical professional out there. You're awesome. Hi there, Garrett Robinson here. Welcome to the 21st episode of the Nightblade Epic Podcast Season 2. A Cloak of Red is here. If you haven't picked up your copy yet, you should. Initial reviews from readers are fantastic. They're calling it a new dynamic to Underrealm, a breath of fresh air, and a bunch of other things that also make me blush to say out loud, even alone here in my sound booth. You can get A Cloak of Red at underrealm.net/TTK. That's underrealm.net/TTK. Okay, now it's time for today's episode. Today, you're getting Chapter 27 of Mystic. When we left off, Lauren and her friends had just barely survived the horror and devastation of the Dorshan attack on Wellmont. Enjoy! Mystic, Chapter 27. Lauren stumbled out of a building, her last fire doused. Steam rose all throughout the streets, lingering misty remnants of the small, inglorious fight the city's inhabitants had fought against the unrelenting flames. Jem lay on his back in the middle of the street, chest heaving and eyes closed. Annis sat cross-legged nearby, head drooping as though asleep. Mayhap she was. Moving listlessly, Lauren went to lean against the building's wall, her head bumping against the bricks. They were still warm with the heat of the fire she had just put out. Every part of her wanted to lie down as Jem had, and sleep in the street for days, only waking after the siege was over and the Dorshans had left. But now that the battle was done, Jordell would want to flee Wellmont, and Lauren wanted that even more than rest. Somewhere in the chaos and the burning, she had reached her decision. If this was war, she wanted no part of it. And if Jordell meant to stave off a war, she would help him. She did not doubt it would come to killing in the end. The mystic seemed prone to such, but he had promised her she would have no part in violence. If he would teach her the ways of shadow and secrecy, and could guarantee the safety of Jem and Annis, then she would help him, if it gave even a small hope of stopping more battles like this one. She heard hasty, urgent footsteps, a distant cadence amidst the shuffling walk of all those around her. Her eyes snapped open, and she saw Zane walking towards them. The wizard's clothes were a mess, and his hair stuck out in all directions. One of his eyebrows had burned off, and the top of one boot was tattered. But his eyes gleamed clear and bright, and his steps did not falter. He caught sight of Lauren leaning against the wall, and his eyes darted nervously around. "There you are. Where is the mystic?" "Vivian left with you before the battle began," Lauren mumbled. She could not find the strength to speak louder. "We have not seen her since." "Not the woman," Zane said. "I left her behind. Jordell." "I do not know. We lost him somewhere in the chaos. He must be nearby." "Let us hope not," said Zane. "Come, it is time for us to go." "Go?" Her hackles rose. "Go where? Jordell is our way out of the city." "I do not need him." Zane spoke quick and harsh. He looked to Annis in the street. "Girl, do you still carry the cargo you had with you?" Annis looked up at the wizard, her eyes blank and unseeing for a moment. When they focused, she gave a slow nod. "I have them." "That is all we need," said Zane. "Come quickly, before those meddlers can find us." "You said you would leave with Jordell," said Lauren. The wizard was worrying her, and that seemed to give her strength. She pushed off from the wall and stood facing him, feet spread, hands at her sides. "There was no lie in your voice this morning, wizard, and do not tell me there was. You have no skill for deception. You meant to follow Jordell, and now I have decided to do the same." "Then you are a fool," snarled Zane. "Only one lost in madness would go with the mystic or aid him in his plans. If you had heard half the things he told me, you would run screaming from this place and live forever terrified by the sight of a red cloak." "What things?" said Lauren. "You pledged to tell me what he said. Let me hear it now, then, if you are determined to run off and leave him." "We all will," said Zane. "You have promised a half share of something, and I will have it." "Not until we reach your contact," said Lauren angrily, "as I have told you again and again." "Foolish girl!" Zane shouted, making Lauren jump. "Do you not think I could take them if I wanted? I pledged an agreement, but you have twisted the terms until they have nearly snapped. With a single word I could have what is mine. Mayhap I shall." His eyes glowed white as he whispered. With a twist of his hand, a gust of wind slammed into Annis. She flew into the air with a cry, landing on her feet beside him, where the wizard seized her arm. Lauren rushed forwards, but paused as the glow in his eyes increased, and he raised a hand towards her. "Stop this!" cried Lauren. "We made a deal. Have you no honor?" "You speak to me of honor when you would deny me my due?" said Zane. "Now, will you come with me willingly, or must I take my share by force, and yours as well?" Lauren was nearly swaying on her feet from exhaustion. She knew not what to do. Already she had decided to go with Jordell, and even if she had not, she no longer had any wish to travel beside Zane. But what choice did she have? If she refused, she did not doubt he would take Annis and flee Wellmont alone, and then she might never find him in the Magestones again. And then, over Zane's shoulder and far down the street, Lauren saw a pale figure in a red cloak. Her hair was still a mess and her shoulders slumped, but still she walked with her head held high. "Vivian!" cried Lauren. "Help!" The mystic's gaze snapped towards her and took in Zane's grasp on Annis. Her eyes glowed white and an invisible force propelled her through the air towards them. She landed between Lauren and Zane, her eyes on the wizard. "What are you doing, Zane?" said Vivian in a voice of ice. "I am leaving this place, and you and your master besides. Do you think you can stop me?" "That was not the agreement," said Vivian. "And if you would break your word to Jordell, at least do it to stay here and help Wellmont live." But Zane laughed at her even as he pushed Annis away. The girl stumbled and fell to the street, scrabbling away from Zane as he gave Vivian a cruel smile. "I care nothing if your precious home is reduced to rubble. Only one person in this world concerns me, and every moment I spend away increases his peril." "Jordell is your best chance to see your son again," said Vivian. "You know it to be true. Do not risk his safety for your own pride." "Has Jordell told you all he told me?" said Zane. "I think not, for then you would know him for a madman more dangerous than any serpent on the High King's seat. Not even you would march behind him into his madness. Say what you wish, but you will not leave except by Jordell's side." "You cannot stop me," said Zane, and attacked. A blast of fire screamed for Vivian. Lauren flung herself out of the way. But Vivian dashed the bolt aside, and it dissipated into the air high above. Then she responded, flinging Zane into the wall where Lauren had leaned only a moment ago. Zane broke her hold. His glowing eyes brightened, and with a snap of his fingers, the hem of Vivian's cloak caught fire. Her eyes lit with fear, but she quickly recovered, waving away the flames while she struck Zane with an invisible cudgel. Then, to Lauren's surprise, Vivian leaped forwards and attacked him with her fists. Once, twice, 3 times she struck him, in the face and stomach. Zane stumbled, nearly falling to the ground. Lauren knew him for a poor fighter, and it seemed he had not expected the mystic's assault. But he was not finished. With a cry, he seized Vivian's shoulders, and from his hands crackled fingers of lightning that danced across her body. Vivian screamed in pain as she convulsed. When Zane pushed her away, she fell senseless to the ground. Lauren waited, expecting Vivian to rise again, or at least to try, but the mystic did not move. Zane stared at her prone form for a long, quiet moment. The street's activity had ceased, with all eyes on the mage battle, but no one dared make a sound. Then, satisfied, Zane turned from Vivian and strode for Annis. "No!" cried Lauren, but she was too late. Zane seized Annis's arm and hauled her up. Quickly he dragged her north. When Lauren shouted again, he turned and wrapped an arm around Annis's throat, holding one hand to her face. "Stop, girl," said Zane. "You have tried to betray me once, and even set your mystic sow upon me. I will tolerate no more. The girl comes with me to the High King's seat, and there I will secure my son's freedom. Only then will she be free to go, to return to you with your share if she wishes. I am not cruel after all." "Let me go," said Annis, but Zane tightened his arm around her throat, and she fell still. "You have gone mad, Zane," said Lauren. "You would threaten the life of a child? Her parents love her no less than you love your own son." "Her parents are serpents who kill without a second thought," said Zane. "How many others have they robbed of fathers and mothers, daughters and sons? Taking their child would be only fair play. But even so, I will not do it unless you force me. If I for a moment suspect your pursuit, the girl dies and I keep the stones for myself." Lauren stomped the ground hard enough to hurt her foot. A useless gesture, but she had had enough. "You will not leave again. You abandoned me on the King's Road and tried to leave again in Cabras. I will not let you disappear a third time, and I do not believe for a moment that you will kill her. You doubt my resolve? I doubt you are heartless." Lauren knew it was a risk, and yet she took a step closer. Zane tensed, but he did not move. "You are callous and a terrible liar, and incredibly, stupidly stubborn, yes, but you would not harm a child. You are not a man who kills. I have seen it. I know it to be true. Please, Zane, end this madness." Zane shook his head. "You know little, you believe easily, and you assume so very much. A dangerous combination. Did you take my tale for true when I told you what happened upon the High King's seat? I did not stir up some mage's duel. The constables hunted me for murder." Lauren felt her heart stop. "No. You said I told you a lie, and you believed it. And if you still doubt my conviction—" His eyes glowed as he whispered a word. White flames erupted on his finger. He pressed the finger to the side of Annis's neck, and Lauren heard the sizzle of flesh. Annis screamed, her legs kicking. Still, Zane held her up with an arm wrapped around her throat. "Stop!" screamed Lauren. "Stop it, Zane!" Zane withdrew his finger, and Annis fell to whimpering in his arms. "If you follow me, I will not hesitate. Farewell, Lauren of the family Nelda, and may we never meet again." He backed slowly away, and Lauren could only watch him go. Together with Annis, he vanished around the corner of a building. As soon as he was out of sight, Lauren ran to it. The street beyond was empty. Zane was gone, and with him, Annis. This has been a production of Legacy Books, written and narrated by Garrett Robinson. The music in this podcast was created by Will Musser. Check out his incredible work at willmusser.com. That's WILLMUSSER.com. Today's letter is C. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.